Hi, everyone, and welcome to Truth Camp. I'm your host, Crystal Giznichek, with my co-host and wife, Sarah. We believe that there is something you can learn from everyone and want to help share these truths to help inspire and motivate. Thank you for spending time with us today. Now let's get started.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode on Truth Camp. I'm here with my wife, Butter Biscuits in the lap, and our special guest today is Lorrie Raymond. She is a part-time realtor and full-time with Destiny Dog.
Probably the reverse on that. But
well,
close enough.
Full-time realtor, part-time with Destiny Dog Training. And that's where our bison buffalo meat goes. And we wanted to invite her on to talk about all the dog things and all the realtor things. And hopefully you guys will enjoy. And hopefully this encourages the few people that I've told to get your ass down to dog training to go, because it's worked so well for us.
Oh, definitely. Bison was kind of like a crazy dog. He had a lot of energy as a puppy.
No, you hated him.
I did.
He had a lot of personality.
We'll be honest with how it all came about, because she hated him so much.
But it helped me bond with him.
Yeah, you were
really
like, I'm taking him because I can't handle his personality. And now...
And it just because we have a lot of dogs. The people obviously know we have 9 dogs. And his personality was just so different. The Chihuahuas are very more laid back, and he just is on all the time. Mm-hmm. So they would just growl at him, and it just seemed like it was chaos in our house. But definitely, as soon as we started taking him to school, I want to say, I think I saw a big change of him in Puppy 2 class, because we took him... Probably Puppy 1, I think, in May last year, I think is when we started. And then we stayed with it, Puppy 2, Puppy 3, Sub-Novice, and now he's in advanced class.
Well, and 2, you're really refining your skills.
Yeah.
1, you were just working to figure it out.
Yes, definitely.
And what ages, because I think, I don't think we've ever really talked about this. How do you guys break it down with your programs, ages and stages?
The best time to train a dog is between 4 to 6 months of age. It's just easier. They're like clay. You can mold them. I always say they are buying everything you sell. Developmentally, the dogs change about every 8 weeks. So the younger, the better. Can you train an older dog? Absolutely. But your job's going to be a whole lot harder. So if we could get them all at 4 to 6 months of age, that would be the goal.
I'm just trying to think of how many people, 4 months old, they're still, I think that's a tough time, because that's when they're they really don't want to listen. They're doing their own thing.
Right. 4 to 6 months is kind of like them becoming a teenager. But they do have the ability to be able to follow instructions. They like working in obedience. And by the time they're 6 months, they're kind of rotten. So, again, that little bit younger is better.
That's true. And then you guys also offer, in your, I would say, advanced courses where you do, the Canine Good Citizen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what other advanced certifications do you have for dogs?
Once you would go through what would be called Beginner 1 or Puppy, Beginner 2 and or Beginner 3, you would then go into a Sub-Novice level, which would be for people that want to get titles on their dogs, like Canine Good Citizen, there's Farm Dog, there's Urban Dog, and then there are those beginning levels of obedience or rally, duck diving, barn hunting. So all of those kind of things come into play after you have that nice foundation of obedience built with the dog.
And you do that all through the AKC, correct?
Everything is AKC recognized. Barn Hunt in of itself is its own hub, same as Therapy Dog International. So AKC will recognize those titles with your dog's name, but they have their own house they operate underneath,
How long have you been working? What part are you in the AKC, I should ask?
For me, I'm just an AKC evaluator.
Okay.
But our kennel club holds 2 shows a year. They're called clusters because they are 3 or more days. So we have dog shows for conformation, obedience. We have the dog diving. We do 2 barn hunts a year. in conjunction with the St. Clairsville Kennel Club. So, pretty much anything that anybody's interested in with dogs is available in our area. Sometimes you're going to have to travel. Yeah. Should you travel? Yeah. Because your dog has to get used to going to different places. And the only way to do that is to go to different shows, different places to train, and that sort of thing. But anybody that wants to hobby with their dog, all kinds of things you can do with them. And Destiny's just a beginning start. So after that, you can go for as long as you want. Some people train we train our dogs from the time that they start to come until they die. So that's just the way it is. It's part of life.
I think it's good too, the socialization aspect, like just getting them, because I know Bison in particular, he was a little bit reactive to other dogs and insecure, and that definitely helped him be a lot more secure. And
we had to talk him into being okay with those things. And so did you, which was good, And I think a lot of it is desensitization, which the dog just gets used to being around people and dogs. And we all, they need that. So the only place you're going to do that's in a public venue.
Yeah, and those they're so nice because you have all different sizes and types, and
nice varieties.
They're really subjected to a little bit of everything and different people. Like our dogs, it's tough. They have a tough time with men because it's us, and we don't,
There's a
especially
lot
this
of
time
dogs
of year,
that don't like men. I think for some reason it's a common thing, and I really don't know because it works two different ways. Generally, dogs listen better to men because they just are more domineering sometimes, but they also have a fear of them. And that's something that we want to conquer. Same thing with children. If your dog hasn't been exposed to kids, best thing to do is get them to ball field, to where they're around kids, and they learn that children are okay because children move weird. They make weird noises, so the dog's like so the more places the better, the more people the better.
Yeah, our dogs have a particular distrust of children or people that they deem resemble children. Like if you're of short stature, our dogs seriously, they treat them just like they do children. They do not like them.
That is funny.
We have to tell, we're like, really sorry, they think you're a kid. Like and that's it. And it's nothing. It's just they are a short person.
Now, would you say in your experience, like dogs like that, can every dog be trained to not be afraid of children? Or
that's a super good question, because I get that all the time. People call me on the phone, they ask me questions. Can my dog do this and can my dog do that? What we can do is make your dog better. Can we make him perfect? No. There are some humans and canines that are just never going to like something or someone. So he might not ever be able to be a dog that is well trusted with children. Can he learn to tolerate them when your grandkids come over? Yeah, for sure. And Chihuahuas in general are not supposed to be good with kids. They're a one-person breed. But I just got done telling you my granddaughter owns a Chihuahua. That's her best friend. So breaking a rule right there.
And some of our Chihuahuas are pretty social with most, like Benny. I mean, Benny is the anomaly, too. And that's because Luna's not a Chihuahua. I don't know what
she's not. She's convinced she's something else. Huh?
Oh, I would put like
she has
my life on it that she's something else. Like she is part Chihuahua, but like the way that she's built compared to all the others,
she kind of herds too a little bit.
Oh. She wants to nip and hurt, and she's that Merle coloring.
Okay.
And yeah, you'll have to meet her one.
Prairie Drive.
Oh yeah, she's not Chihuahua, but Benny is definitely Chihuahua. But he loves everybody.
Well, put you guys towards the Frenchie, like after having the Chihuahuas. Okay, all right.
I mean,
so you wanted him, and she got sent to dog school. That's priceless.
I'm a big dog person.
Okay.
The bigger, the furrier, the better.
I'm just going to adjust this kind of permanently for you.
Okay.
The bigger, the furrier, the better. Like I like a big dog. I like a working dog. And the smallest dog I've ever had was a Sheltie.
Okay.
But they're a working dog, so busy.
Right.
And then when I met her, she had Chihuahuas, and initially I was like not thrilled because I'm like, and I love all animals, but I was just like, fuck.
Doesn't seem like a real dog.
No, and volunteering at the shelter and being involved with animal rescue, every Chihuahua was like, leave it in the cage, don't fucking touch it. We're calling a specialist in, because if not, this dog's going to have to be put down. So Bella and Butch were great, and I loved them, but like you feel like you're going to like you could hurt them, and like they're so dainty, but they are that way, but they're not. So I had always loved bulldogs.
Okay.
And when the opportunity like presented itself, it fell into our lap, and I was like, we have to do
one of our
Look how
friends
cute.
is a breeder, and she our first bulldog that we have, Olive, she had a heart murmur.
Pretty severe heart murmur, and she was, they handled it like super responsibly too, and they were just like, we've never produced this, we are no longer going to breed these dogs together, but we want to make sure that she has a home that will love her and be able to care for her and want to care for her however long she lives. So when they contacted us, we were just like, yeah, like let's do it. And her heart murmur was pretty severe and didn't get better until she was well over a year old. But we just were
we took her hiking a lot, actually, and I think it made her heart stronger.
Yeah, we treated her
I've
no
heard that
differently.
They can come out of heart murmurs. I mean, as many of breeders have placed dogs with murmurs that have disappeared years later.
Yeah, and she's like phenomenal. It was just one day we're at the vet office for like the standard checkup, and it was like, it's gone. But I mean, I love them because they have more of a like
big dog personality.
No, but I tend to lean toward, like, if I had to choose dog or cat, I'm picking a cat. I like that you have to work for them. Like, and I think the Frenchies, they're a breed that like they're stubborn. They have their own personality. They're not just there like, I love you, I want to make you happy. Like,
oh no, you're
but
not getting that from Frenchie.
no, and I love that. I love that they're rotten. Like, I think, but they're just so cute. And when they love you, they love you. So yeah, I like a little project. And like the Chihuahuas are just like, please hold me and pick me up and love me and do that. And I'm just like, make it hard. Like,
You're a Chihuahua mom now.
I am a Chihuahua mom now.
She'll be laying on the couch and she has about 5 of them.
Dogs attached to her.
yeah, but Ernie is my Chihuahua,
Yeah.
and Ernie's the biggest bastard we have. And that is my baby boy.
I always liked bigger dogs, and the Havanese were a big adjustment for me.
I mean, they're so cute, but then it's just like, are you a dog? Like, are you?
Yeah, I get that. The Havanese in general have a big dog personality. It's a lot of dog and a small dog. So it worked for me. It just depends. Because like I said, I had Great Danes, Belgian Shepherds. So to go to Havanese was a big stretch.
And what made you go down to Havanese?
Well, somebody wanted me to go with them to pick out a puppy.
Oh, no.
And you should just not go.
Yes.
Or take no money with you, one or the other.
Just
but
not
yeah,
go.
the kids cried. They loved her. Home she came. And then we decided to breed her because, again, my children wanted to do that. I indulged my children way too much. But anyway, so we bred her. She had 4 babies, and we kept 2 because, it's the way it rolls.
Of course.
Got
We
rid of
like this
2,
one and
kept
this
2.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's, I tell her, she's like, I would love to just like be a part of that like process. And I'm like, we cannot, because you'll keep every single
And I'm
one.
telling you, that's the hazard of it, because I feel like everybody should go ahead and witness that. No, because you are going to keep them, so be prepared. I'm surprised we didn't keep all 4 of them, to be honest. Like, but thank goodness there were 2 other good homes. But now that I'm getting another dog, I'm getting a dog, which is a bigger dog.
You're getting a dog.
He's like,
dog.
I think they're 60 to 80 pounds, something like that. So it's somewhere in between.
What I like is she had sent me like the screenshot of the dog and your message of like, if anyone wants to take a road trip. So I'd like to circle back to what you just said.
Yeah, road
So
trip.
anyone who goes with you on this road
They can
trip,
get one. Did you see that? Brian said he was going to go with me and not take his checkbook. And I'm like, smart guy.
It's a trap.
yeah, it doesn't work. You could be like, hey, when I get home, I'm going to pay. Like, you accept this. You just can't go.
And it's everyone at dog school's fault, because they all keep talking about puppies. They're all getting puppies. They're all bringing puppies to dog school. I'm like, my guys are old. They're not super old, but Heidi will be 12, and we still call them the babies. They'll be 9. So the babies are getting old. So I guess we need to have somebody that wants to get off the couch once in a while.
Do you though?
Okay. No, I really don't. Probably. Well, I told myself I'll just take it to work with me. It goes to dog school.
Yeah.
It goes to real estate. Either one.
And then it'll be like a really well-adjusted dog.
Yes, very well adjusted. Yeah.
So we kind of talked about this a little bit off air, but what made you go with a curly-coated retriever?
So, I love to do research. Looked at so many different breeds. I can't have things that are average. I've had Belgian Lakenwa. I've had Belgian Malinois. I've had some dogs that are really different. I had the pleasure of having the first time trial in the country, Malinois. So that to me is like a big deal.
Wow.
My Lakenwa unfortunately passed away before I could achieve that same title with him because they are AKC recognized now. But I love the Goldens, and I'm with them all the time. I have so many. You guys know everybody in advance with the Goldens. I almost feel like they're mine. So I was like, well, let's look at retrievers in general. The curly coats are, go back into the 1800s, 1900s in England. Just an old sound breed. And I thought the look was really cute just because it's something different.
I love that.
It's also
curly.
wash and wear, too. Like, don't have to do a lot of grooming to show.
So they're not like your doodles that are going to be a ton of work.
No. Literally, it says bath them once a month. Don't even dry them. You just let them,
that's
scrunch the hair.
nice.
Cut the nails. The pads, of course, like where their hair grows in between. But outside of that, I did not want something else that required a bunch of maintenance in my life. So it looked really good as far as the fit. So if you hear me whining, a couple months from now, just go, well, you must not have researched enough, Lorrie. But it does. It looks good. I'm pretty excited about it.
We'll allow you a little bit of wine. Yeah. It's that puppy. Like, it's really cute in the beginning, and then there's that long phase of regret. And then they finally calm down. You're like, okay, I'm really glad that I did this.
I always forget how bad the puppy stage
Puppies
until we get
are.
another one. Then I'm like, oh, I hate this.
And all of my clients say that. They call me after their 12 or 14-year-old dog has died, and they have thought they wanted a puppy, or a family member buys them a puppy, and they're like, oh my gosh, my dog wasn't like this. And I'm like, he was. You just don't remember, because let's face it, after a year and a half, we can tolerate them. After a year, they're awesome. Or I'm sorry, after 3 years, they're awesome. I actually started out a search to get an older dog. Was going to maybe do an Irish Water Spaniel that was going to be 2. And then I was like, no, if I'm going to introduce, because I do have 3 other dogs and a cat and a grandbaby. There's so much going on. I thought the puppy might just be better to adjust to everybody, as opposed to an adult dog walking in and going,
Yeah, and then, like, is everybody going to get along? And if something happens, that dog's older, stronger, bigger.
Yeah, if she ate one of my Havanese, it would have been a problem.
Yeah, that wouldn't be very good at all.
I think my cat could hold his own, though, truthfully.
Yeah, the cats, that's why, like, some with some of our dogs and the cats, she'll worry. And I'm like, if these damn cats would just, like, really let loose, like, I'm more worried about the dog than I am the cat. Like, they climb, they're faster, and
Some of the Chihuahuas give them a run for their money.
yeah, but they've never turned on them. Have you ever
Yeah.
gotten bit by a cat?
Yeah.
That is, or just like full on like attack, like it hurts. It's terrible. Those Chihuahuas would never look at a cat again.
Size-wise, they're compatible. Your cat's probably bigger.
Yeah, they
Our
are.
cat, we have some cats that are as big as our Frenchies. We have
You had the Maine Coon? No, they're just big cats.
We have massive cats. I mean, they're just random cats, but they're Sebastian and Jack Kitten are humongous cats. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
we've
tall,
rescued, I think, like all
long,
of our
big.
cats. Most of them.
Yeah.
Except for the
Dracula and
Selkirk
Pugsley.
Reds.
But they're big
They're
cats.
just big ones.
Yeah, they're huge.
I would
So-
love a Maine Coon.
Yeah, that's a really cool breed cat.
That's
So-
like a dog.
a
cat.
dog cat. Yeah,
It is, yeah.
You have a dog cat.
I've
So-
had Devon Rex, and they are similar to dogs.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
big, but they're fun. They play
I love
fetch.
the Rex breeds.
The personality is just wonderful,
They're such a cool cat. Any of the Rexes are.
They're so
I love the
big.
curl and that really short hair on them.
Look at the size of that.
I know that.
They have the...
That would mess 90% of dogs up.
They'd probably sit and tolerate a lot from a dog too.
Yeah.
My favorite is when people are like,
Can you
"Oh
imagine
yeah,
if that turned on you? That would be similar
no,
to
it'd
a
be
bobcat.
terrifying."
It's like having a bobcat in your house.
Well, I love when people are like, "My cat's part Maine Coon." Your cat is not part Maine Coon because it has ear tufts and long hair.
Right.
Like, let's get something completely straight.
Yeah.
Your cat is not part Maine Coon. Nothing. It's a fucking domestic long hair.
Well, and when I think of a Maine Coon, I always think of this color, that sable and white with black.
And
That's pretty, though.
That, like, really wide muzzle that they have.
Yeah, his muzzle's definitely intriguing.
I mean, they look...
Oh, bless you, baby.
Oh, they look so different from the time they're kittens, too. Like, you can look at that cat in that top left corner. Look at the face on that one compared to that one.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably not a Maine Coon, even though it says that.
I was going to say, I don't think so either, and I don't think this guy on the Andes either.
My dad always said it was the M.
Oh, okay.
He said
it kind of look like it has an M.
he said all Maine Coons have an M looking thing that go there, but I mean he wasn't a breeder, so I don't know.
What's the new cat? I think it begins with an S that's huge. They're like 40 pounds.
The Savannahs?
Yeah.
Oh, the Savannah cats. So I was actually just talking to a client about the Savannah cats the other day, and
I don't know anyone that has
someone was supposed to, like, they were looking to rehome. So these cats
Those are the ones that the people are feeding like raw chicken breasts.
Yeah, they're very wild.
Yeah.
And it's a domestic cat mixed with a true wild cat, and they're very vocal.
It's probably like our wolf hybrids.
Yeah, they're like aggressive ass cats, and yeah, like they need a lot, and they're beautiful. And I've had cats my entire life, but I would 110% say no to this. No, there's some of them, they end up in
like a
sanctuaries.
visit to the zoo.
Yeah, like go to the zoo and like deal with this cat that could like really seriously hurt you.
Like, and seeing this one on the counter,
Yeah.
like that cat's almost the same size as that lady.
Well, this one's in the shelf on the fridge. I could see my cat doing that.
There's a cat that I follow, this big cat rescue, and they have like lynx and bobcats and cougars. And I showed this one to you, babe. I don't know if you remember. The cat was a Serval cat, but it looked like it had the coloring of a domestic cat. It was just within the breeding. It was so aggressive and so wild that it lived in an enclosure outside by itself, and it had to be surrendered to them because of how aggressive it was.
Wow.
So it looks like this beautiful orange and white cat with like this face, and they have to feed it with tongs.
Wow. My.
So yeah, go ahead and get that cat. Now, have you guys ever had wolf hybrids come through the school?
No, not come through school. I do have people that occasionally call me about a wolf hybrid, and generally we don't recommend that they're training in a group just because it's not safe. And one thing about dog school people don't realize is we do have to make it a safe place. Doesn't mean we don't have dogs come with attitudes. I'm sure you guys have seen a couple of them, but by and large it has to be okay for all of the humans and all of the dogs, or we would push them to private lessons and then bring them into a group setting when we could. And I don't know if you've been in any of the classes that had that, but we usually separate them. They're behind a gate, working, getting used to. Remember, that desensitization word is big because a lot of times with animals, it's fear-based. So if you can build their confidence and let them just get used to things, they're usually fine.
Now, because you have so much experience, does it concern you when you see dog breeds like, you know, the Dogo Argentino and African Borbals, and especially the Belgian Malinois?
The Belgians are so close to my heart. People don't really understand that you can't be an average dog owner with one of those kind of dogs, and the same thing with the other breeds that you've named. And you know, you just have to have somebody who already has experience with dog training. If not, it's a recipe for disaster, because there aren't really bad dogs per se. There are dogs that are predispositioned to certain behaviors for all kinds of reasons. So with the wrong human on the other end of the leash, again, it's a recipe for disaster. Even pit bulls, you know, it's a pit bull. I hear this all the time. The breed itself is not mean. The owners can make them mean. The dogs can be dangerous because their bite is worse than a regular dog, you know. So that's where your differences come in. But you've probably seen a lot of pit bulls in our class too. They're all fine.
Oh my God,
I mean, they're usually big babies,
bugs,
honestly.
Yeah.
So if you don't have somebody who's trying to make them mean, or starving them, or trying to force them to fight, or something along those lines, you're good. I will say sometimes when it comes to adoption agencies in general, they don't always cautiously place those dogs with the right kind of family, because it does take the right kind of person. As much as we love dogs, they have to fit the family. Otherwise, it's just not a good scenario.
So what
for
would
the
you
dog or the humans?
What would you tell people? Because there's a lot of people that just are like, this dog breeds cute and that's what I want. How would you go about researching properly to fit your
that's a good
family's
question.
needs?
Yeah. So you would really want to do your homework first online with like the AKC. If you're looking at their information on breeds, which remember I just did that, the information's good. But I also used Facebook. You want those chat groups. The people that own that particular breed are so helpful. I can't tell you how many wonderful, helpful people I ran into with at least 12 different breeds. So it's important. If you can, you'd like to look at both parents. Sometimes they're not on the same premises, which I get. People breed to dogs in other countries, and there's artificial insemination and stuff. But by and large, if you can get an idea of the bloodlines for that particular breed, because we can say, "Well, I'm getting a golden retriever. That's the best family dog ever." It might not be from good lines, So we want to look at mom, dad, the genetics. If you get a pedigree on your dogs, it'll tell you every title that's earned for each dog on the pedigree. From the AKC. So those are the things that you want to look at. So talk to the people that have that breed, talk to your breeders, do your online research, and you'll be fine. And of course, train your dog, because if you don't do that, it's not good.
That's when people with their dogs like 4 years old and they're just like, I got to do something. And you're just like, yeah, we should have did it a long time ago.
It usually comes at 8 months. If I had to say what is my biggest pet peeve, it's people calling me. I'm not saying don't call me. I'm saying when people call me with the dog that's 8 months and they haven't spayed or neutered it because their breeder told them to wait until it was a year and a half old and they haven't trained it. That you can't fight hormones. You can't get mad at dogs for acting out because of hormones and a lack of training. So I don't care how good you think your dog is or how good you think you are. Anybody that's a dog trainer knows that they got to get their dog out and train them. I'll take my dog to someone else's school because it has to get out,
Now, how do you feel about like the board and trains versus like group trainings?
I think a board and train definitely is a good idea for a lot of people. And the reason that I say that is there are some incapable trainers. There are many people, and I'd say 80% of them, that can come to school. They're going to learn how to interact with their dog. I think that my gift in training is to getting you to think like your dog. Board and train is for people that just don't have time, can't be bothered, don't want to put in the effort. So, there are, Rob Cook does a board and train, does a nice job. And I think in those particular scenarios, he'll just do it for you. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Now, do you see like a success versus like how much of a success versus failure rate? Because again, that comes back to the person. Like, Rob can take your dog and do an amazing job and then give it back and then you just suck.
And you blow it. Yep,
and then
absolutely.
You ruin your dog.
So for that reason, I really only teach group. And I have people ask me to do private all the time. I have 2 assistants that I let do private for me. I don't believe in it. If you can't get yourself to class, interact with that dog with other people, what's the point? Unless you're having a problem. Maybe your dog's too aggressive. Maybe you're handicapped. There's all kinds of other reasons for private lessons, but myself, I'm going to say group 99% of the time if you can. And Rob and I work together great like that. He's done a board and train and then sent them to me so that they can get put out into the world. And I've had people that they really need some help. I'll send them to him. You know what I mean? So I think that's a nice way to put it and to look at it, And should you even go to other places? Yeah, you can go to Bel Air, you can go to Caddis. There's other places because the more places you take your dog, the more successful he's going to be,
How long has the school been there, and how long have you been involved with it?
I have been in, long time, because I'm 58, so I started when I was 20 with Destiny Dog School. So yes, I was a successor from a previous owner. We've been in pottery over 20 years, but we used to train at the Armory which it was in Steubenville, and since then it's been torn down. So
Was that the one like adjacent to Biggio?
Biggio Ford.
Okay,
Yep,
yep, I
yep,
know.
yep. So, and before that, it was at the Grange Hall down in New Alexandria. So it's been around for a long time.
Been around.
Yeah, long time. When we got kicked out of the armory, it was during one of the times of war. The next thing you know, they tear the building down. So it took me about a year to find some place to even go, because as soon as I said I was training dogs, they're like, dogs, you know. I'm like, they're not going to live there. They're just coming in to visit. Oh, no, you know. So people, they weren't real open to that. The church that I'm in now is an old church, belonged to the Ancient Order of Hibernians, and they were nice enough to give me the top floor. So once they disbanded, really just because everyone was older and they couldn't keep the club going, the Kennel Club bought the whole building. So I now rent from them. So,
which is such a nice location. Like you're
love the location.
You're so close to everything, but you're just by yourself.
Yep, you could come to from Weirton or from out 22. You can come from just about anywhere and get there easily.
Yeah, I like that little location.
I'd like to have bigger, obviously most would, but again, a lot of expenses go in there, and I try to keep my classes super affordable. I think that's important, that everyone be able to train their dog instead of just, the elite.
It would be so much better. Like when I talk to my clients that are like getting new dogs, people just, they don't know where to take their dogs. Like even if training doesn't come up as a topic, they're just like, I wish we had a dog park. I wish we had somewhere to take dogs that I could socialize them. Like, everybody takes their dog to Lowe's or Rural King.
Beatty Park is very dog friendly.
Is Beatty Park dog friendly?
Yes, it is dog friendly. They've made many noises about making it into a dog park. I don't know what qualifies a dog park. I will say this about dog parks, because
I was just going to ask you how you felt about dog parks.
Yep. So I hear a lot about dog parks. The thing about that is, just look for a dog-friendly place, because dog park to me means a bunch of people taking their dogs and letting them run loose. I am never going to say that's a good idea or that it's okay, because any dog can change his mind about how he feels about another dog. So to me, it's a liability. You can walk your dog at Jim Woods Park. You can walk your dog in Beatty Park. The cemetery used to be a great place, and now they don't allow dogs. I'm kind of sorry about that, because it was a wonderful place to walk.
Oh, it's such a good place to walk your dog, and the hills. I mean, and then the smells for them, and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
but
very, very pretty. But they just, but it was probably because of some irresponsible dog owners who didn't clean up after themselves, or the dog or whatnot. But to me, you have deer poop there. I mean, come on.
It was a really dumb reason, and I'll tell you about it when we get off the air, because I know why.
Well,
And
so
it's fucking stupid, and it pisses me off to this day. But
the Beatty Park is I haven't gone, but supposedly equally as nice.
well, I grew up with my backyard being the cemetery, so we would just take our dogs into the hollow and just walk from up Union down to Beatty.
Okay.
And
And they still have those trails.
Oh yeah, which they developed even more. So they're busier back there than when I was growing up. There was like nobody back there, but it was just everybody did that with their dogs. They would just go back through the hollow and walk your dogs, and
it's a great idea. I mean, you want to have a pet with you when you're doing that sort of thing.
Or State Lake. I mean, we see a lot of people out there
is very nice.
with State Lake.
I take him hiking there a lot.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a very nice place to be. And it's, I'm not sure how they feel about it, but it's a good place to take your dog into the water. There's usually no one there. I recommend you use a long line. You don't want to lose your dog. But good place to try water.
Which I don't think they don't let anybody swim, right? Like, you're not allowed to swim.
No, but
there.
I think I've seen dogs out there. I don't think
Yeah,
I've
a lot
seen
of people
signs
take
that
their
you
dogs.
can't.
State Lake has a little...
They have that beach
little
area.
beach area.
Yeah,
Well, you're not supposed to. No horses on the beach.
Right.
Which,
And then you see horses.
but people go, and I don't care. Like, good, take them. Who cares?
Right.
But we see a lot of people. It was last winter when the lake froze over. We actually saw people that would like take their dogs.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to be careful, but they would let their
bad.
dogs were just having a blast out there when it was thick. I mean, it was really iced over. But I think we know a couple people that take their dogs out there. Well, clients of mine, but they'll take their dogs out there. That's like a little more of a hike, but you can still go out there. But I don't want to see us have a dog park. I don't
Yeah.
think that we should get a dog park.
As long as it was, it just has to be monitored and controlled.
And
I
it
just don't
wouldn't
think
be.
that people, and I have people. This is a new thing too. And
We can't maintain the parks for adults.
Yes.
I mean, for kids, really.
This
But
is true. Yeah.
I'm like thinking of Jim Woods. I'm like, what is it? Every year they're pissed because somebody like throws rocks at the shelters, and then they're pissed about that.
the
and
bathrooms are always destroyed.
and they're being monitored.
Yeah.
Like by video. Why are they destroyed? Like I don't even get that.
because they're
Because
monitored by video.
yeah, well, and even if they are really being monitored by video, then somebody, when something happens, has to go back through the video and watch it.
They're not doing that. I could just see like
Yeah, they really talked about giving that park to the school system, and I love our school system, but they don't need our park. We need something ourselves. There has to be a quality of life, and that goes into the real estate section. People are only going to live where there's a quality of life for them, their families, and their pets.
And the city should be held responsible for maintaining parks for their citizens. I mean,
2% taxes, we got to
yes.
yeah, it's outrageous. I mean, you go to other communities and their parks are pristine.
They are.
And if you would like allow community members to take care of the parks, there
Absolutely.
are plenty of community members that would be
Steubenville
more
does
than
that now.
more than
All the tot lots are taken care
Which
of
is-
by the neighbors.
great because they want to.
They
The
do.
people in those neighborhoods want their neighborhoods to be nice, and they want to take care of them despite who's moving in it. They don't give a shit. They want beautification.
And just take your doggy bags with you, because that's the problem. Nobody wants to step in dog crap. So take your bags with you, and then we'll all be
And
good.
we'll also throw your doggy bags away.
Yeah.
Don't just leave
Just
them where
leave-
your
yeah,
dog
that's a
took
good
a
idea
shit.
too, yeah.
Because that's like my favorite. We'll be walking. I'm like, I would rather step in dog shit than see your dog shit bag that is now going to sit
Hilarious.
there.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Well, we should have biodegradable bags,
yes.
and then you'd solve that.
But they're really cute. What do you mean? There's the cute ones with the little things on them.
that's
and-
true. Yeah.
Jim Woods
That are made
provides
to
bags,
throw
too.
away.
Yes, that are made
They're
to
very
throw
serious
away.
about it.
The-
And they'll say that they don't clean up after. They'll say the dog owners don't clean up after their dogs. That's not true. There's dogs that run loose.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
go to the bathroom down there, and they always misconceive that. The soccer field that we have out in Wintersville, great place to take a dog. They don't allow dogs, but it's full of bird poop.
Yes.
The geese and
Yes.
the ducks, and you can't walk. But I'm like, you're worried that I'm not going to pick up after my dog.
But
Come on.
Also, it's dog shit. It's not like this is something that,
waste,
yes, like, are you kidding me? Like, there's wild animals that come through and shit. Your kids, boys, I guarantee you they're just pissing along the fence line in the middle of those practices and games.
Yeah.
They're spitting on the field, and you're worried about dog shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, oh, it makes me so mad. I'm like, well, Bob and Karen just want something to bitch about today, so that's what we're going to give them. Be pissed about that.
Is Bob the male version?
Yes,
Oh,
Bob's
okay.
and Karen's.
I wasn't sure what the male version was. I'd never heard of.
Bob's and Karen's.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
You learn something new.
Just start throwing those like basic white dude names out there and see which one offends them the most.
that's
I
so
know,
funny.
like Dave's. Sorry, that's like a very common one. They're like, all right,
Dave.
Dave.
Yeah, I know it is. And that's why I was trying to.
No,
I was trying to just push
like,
Bob and,
No, Bob.
and
We're
leave
gonna push
Dave
Bob.
out of it.
We're gonna push Bob. So we'll that was like a nice little
Segment, yeah.
segue into like the real estate side of things. When did you get involved with that?
I've been in real estate for over 4 years now. Absolutely love it. I was a teacher before that for 18 years, computers and library.
So you've been really riding this wave.
Well, I got to miss COVID because as soon as I went into real estate, COVID happened. So it was good timing.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly. And as a realtor, you're teaching people. You really are. I mean, first time home buyers. So a teaching background is a good thing, and I don't mind taking time with people. Plus, I'm teaching at dog school. So anything that I can educate you on that I might know about, I'm happy to do, and I'm really happy to learn too.
Does it like baffle you to see how home prices have just soared in the last 4 years?
Yeah, the end of 21 and the beginning of 22 were amazing, but and I know people don't understand in this area. All we did was come up to where the normal was.
Yes, yeah.
We're pretty much recession proof here. Our housing has been so cheap for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And even today I still hear people say, wow, I can't believe they want that much money. And I'm like, In Columbus, it would be $200,000.
Yeah, that's what I was just like talking with someone. A lot of the houses, it would be double what it would be in some of the bigger markets.
Yeah, and we still have a hard time getting people to understand that. But, if they would look on my website or the housing websites, you would see. Just you look at those other areas and you'll be like, wow. But jobs have a lot to do with that too. So maybe we don't have as many high-paying jobs, and that makes a difference. But we have people now that are coming back to our area, which is really exciting, and we have people moving to our area. A lot of people are attracted to the university, so they're bringing large families here. And we do have jobs, and now we're going to have, 750 jobs at the battery plant right across the river where Wheaton Steel is going to be. So that's exciting.
And also the amount of people that, when the housing was going crazy, when it was like listing price was $200,000, people were like, well, I'll give you $50,000 cash. And that was happening. Also, the other thing we were talking about was, where the hell do people come up with this cash? But time out, people have money. There are people that live here that have money.
We actually have a high cap of wealthy people compared to the population.
Yes.
But
we have old money.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, we're the burb of the burg. Like, there's people that own businesses in Pittsburgh that come here and build mini mansions, and we have doctors that are making a ton of money.
And when you could buy a house for $45,000 to $70,000 and pay off that house, like, what do people do with their money? Like, you can nest
COVID,
here.
People didn't spend any money.
Yeah.
So, they stayed home. We were locked up. We couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. So that's where a lot of cash came from. People just weren't spending. And some people weren't even using banks. I mean, they were like, well, who knows what's going to go on here, The mattress money going on. When you go to get a loan, they need to be able to track your income and the comings and goings of your money. So if it was in a mattress, hard to get a loan. So just save enough money and buy a house cash, just like you said. And we saw it. We still see it more than you would imagine.
When I hear that from other people, and I mean, I completely believe it. It's so funny to me because the amount of people that do have money here, you wouldn't know because this person has lived on Pleasant Heights their entire life, inherited their family home, never left. Like, they have money. Like, they didn't believe in the banks.
That, some people, we don't have that stigma of having to live high. So a lot of people just live an average life because that's how they're comfortable. That's what we're used to. Yeah.
Which is nice. But it was wild to see, like, even in our neighborhood, like, there was a house directly across the street from us that went up for sale for like $175,000, and we were like, wait, what? And I'm like on Realtor, like, look, I'm like, they want $175,000 for this.
I study all the time the MLS. I am on there all the time, and I'm amazed, but I like to know that kind of information. What's this sell? I can't believe that's listed for that price. Next thing you know, it sells, and it is very surprising.
And I think that unless you understand real estate, it's frustrating for the average person to look and go, like, cosmetic shit doesn't matter.
Right.
So you go in and you're like, well, they haven't
good.
replaced their wallpaper, carpet. They haven't done any of these updates. I'm not paying that. Sucks for you because it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, I mean, you might get lucky and be able to negotiate something, but it doesn't matter. Like you said, if the bones are good.
If the roof is good, the furnace is good, windows are decent, that sort of thing. That's really all that matters, especially on appraisal. Ugly does not control value. I say that frequently. So we'll walk in and they'll go, wallpaper. I'm like, doesn't affect the price.
Better not with all the pink bathrooms around here.
Listen, pink, green.
Do you know how
blue?
popular that is now?
I know people are coming back with that, and I'm seeing some really pretty tile patterns that were from back long ago that look pretty cool.
I love it. Listen, I do. I love that, like, seafoam green or like that powder blue. It is so pretty. And I actually just watched a video where someone spent a long time peeling all of the paint off and like doing little update, and it was so beautiful, like the old and new. Plus those tiles were thick as shit.
Well, and they really held up well. The new phase now is there's actually a paint that goes over that tile, and they're able to paint it, make it any color they want. So it's an easy fix. Same thing with the kitchens. Cool. You can paint your cabinets, you can paint your counters, floors. A lot of these floors, they're easy to install yourself. what's that, DIY, do everything yourself. And I think people have grabbed hold of that. You can YouTube video on how to do something, and that's pretty cool. And so if you buy a house for a decent price, you can just work on it as you choose. If it's just ugly.
If it's just, I love that. Ugly doesn't affect value.
Yeah, that's right.
You should put that on a shirt.
Yeah, that's a biggie.
a good one.
And I see it all the time. I have a partner that I work with sometimes, and she says that all the time. She's like, "You're so judgy," and I go, "I'm just saying that my client's going to tell me this, and I'm going to have to say that."
And I'm sure what's I know because we all do this. We all secretly are there, pretending that we have this money to shop at these homes. And I love to do it, to go on Realtor and be like, my budget is this to no limit. And I just want to see some of the houses that are out there. I'm like, oh, this is hideous. Who would pick that? What the hell? Why would you? Oh God! Look at these brass, and then I send it to somebody else. We all do it, and you're going to talk about it.
Absolutely.
So you're smart
Nothing
to get
better
ahead of
talk
it and
about
go.
than dogs and houses.
Did you see the brass in their house? And yep, that's going to cost money to change that out.
I know. I have a good friend that complains every time she sees a gold faucet or a gold trim, and I'm like, I kind of like gold, but that's my age. You know what I mean? But now everybody wants dark, antique,
Oh, do I love an antique? Oh, God, yeah, I love antique.
It's the trends.
But it's coming back, and even the gold and the brass stuff, people will patina it, and it's popular again.
Yeah, it just depends on how you lay it out. I mean, honestly, And I looked at kitchens. I just redid my kitchen, I think about a year ago now. But it took me a year to decide what to do with my kitchen. Why? Because I'm walking in people's houses every day. Oh, I have to have that. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, no, that's way better. Oh, my gosh. No, I really need that. All right, it has to be that cabinet. It was stressful.
Do you have the KitchenAid mixer thing?
I don't. But I have the, I like the pull-out spice rack. You just pull it out, and all the spices are lined up. And then the cookie thing. So you just put all those cookie sheets in there.
Oh,
those are
Those, to me, were two musts. And I have a beautiful, beautiful coffee bar that has wine racks on both these sides, because that's the one thing that I decided out of all of those kitchens that I was looking at, I have to have that. What are my two favorite things in life? Wine and coffee.
And it's so nice because it's right there. It's right built in a coffee nook, and it's you spend so much time. Excuse me. So why wouldn't you just put it in there?
Yeah.
You love pocket doors. That's your she has this.
I have a fetish for pocket doors.
I like pocket doors because they don't take up space.
Yeah. Yes, I hate that.
You can use more furniture that way.
The square footage that you waste with a fucking door on a hinge.
Exactly. I agree.
I'm so glad
I could use all pocket doors in here.
Sure. Listen, this is me. This is my toxic trait. Is I have the audacity
you can do the barn doors now too.
A lot of
if you needed to do, if that was a regular interior door,
I
you're not
going
to lose your space.
No way. I want a pocket.
Okay. All right.
My audacity is I think I can do it. In my mind, I'm like, I can do this. I could turn this into a pocket door. I could do this.
That's funny.
I have that audacity.
My house was built in 75, and it has a pocket door at the top.
God, I just love them so much. Yeah,
and the older homes, like on my Bell, they're beautiful.
Yes,
they have those gorgeous wooden doors that are pocket doors.
All of those houses.
It was fun house shopping when we did. Because I didn't know Steubenville very well. I'm not from around here originally. She is. So she would tell me the areas and what houses.
It just sucks because some of those houses are, and this is not to talk about the people that live there, and the value of the neighborhood has declined. But those houses, at one time, they were the best of the best. And you go and see these, 7 bedrooms in this house, and they're dirt cheap.
That last street up on the hilltop, it's a bunch of mansions back there.
Oh, Bellevue.
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
Yes, and they're even South Bend, which takes you right in. I love every single one of those. What is South Bend Reserve onto Bellevue?
Gorgeous homes. Now the good news is, I don't know if you know this or not, but there are rehab loans. Yes. Which we are seeing. You're seeing the rebuilding of our hilltop properties because they were let go. Older people owned them, passed away. They sat there empty and stuff. But you can now get, you can flip your own home within your loan. So you can apply for a rehab loan, get estimates from your contractor for everything that you want to do. And the only thing that has to happen is that the value appraises for the dollar amount that you're borrowing. And you can do whatever you want to your home within the same loan. No refinancing, no
Oh,
second
that's
mortgage.
so nice.
It is nice.
No HELOC. It's all in one loan. So it's called a rehab loan. And you're seeing a lot of people do those because those homes are beautiful.
Oh, those
And
homes
they all
are
just
so
need rehabbed, you know?
perfect. Those huge front porches.
Yes,
and
wraparound porches, and you know.
I love those homes so much. And it's sad to see them decline the way that they have. And it's like a good and bad thing, because I have mixed feelings about like the university, but like they come in, you know, they'll buy up property, or they'll have investors come in and buy them, and then they do fix them. But I don't like the whole like gentrification of the properties. Like if you're going to restore it, take it to original. In my opinion,
yeah,
like
instead of making it like modern looking.
Yeah, like quit putting the tin roof on it, and you know that, I don't know what it's called, like it's the vertical siding, and you make it look, it's
Like
cool,
11. Okay.
but I don't like it.
Okay.
Like take it back to the original. It's just so pretty.
I think the tin roof is actually more of a functionality thing than a like making it look modern, because they have to be repaired and fixed way
yeah.
Sometimes
less.
it's less expensive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure people are like, I really don't want to take $70,000 to redo this slate roof on this house. Like, I get it.
I think it's Woodlawn has a lot of beautiful
Yes.
slate roofs, and so does Brady Estates. There aren't really any contractor that can work on them.
No one will touch
So you've
them.
got to get somebody out of Pittsburgh that specializes, and that's where your money comes in.
Yeah, and that's...
I think coming from like California and St. Louis, there were open houses like all the time. So literally, like you said, you'd like to go on like Realtor. Like our family,
just like walk
our
in?
family on the weekends, we would all pile up in a car and we would just go to all these open houses
that's beautiful.
with zero intention of buying a house, just to go and check out these cool houses. And it would take up a whole Saturday.
Listen, give me like a couple years. That'll be me. Like once I'm tired of like gardening and shit, that's gonna be me.
I would do it now if it happened around here, but
Shit,
it's not really a thing.
I'm gonna call you one day.
We have open houses, but
We're gonna go up to
COVID took
Pittsburgh.
those away because we couldn't really hold open houses safely. Everyone had to come with like masks and gloves.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of killed the whole thing. But like I myself had an open house yesterday.
Oh, really?
Out in Richmond, so I should have called you to tell you. So I still do them because people feel like they can freely come and look at the house, and they're not going to be pressured by an agent because they're already there with the house open anyway.
How often?
And I think it's smart for an agent too, because people may think like, I have no desire to buy a house. This is just something I like to do. If they walk into a house and they're like, ah, shit.
Yes.
That's what I was just going to ask you, is how often does that happen where someone has zero intention, they're just being nibby, and then they're like,
Open
I
houses
might.
most generally will bring you one solid buyer. And that doesn't matter how many people walk through there. But like my open house yesterday, they're under contract.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is awesome. And it was just because, and I had this is a good example. I had a professional photographer go out and do the pictures instead of just me. It was a listing over 200,000. I figured, maybe he'll do a better job. Everybody that came through yesterday said, man, this looks so much nicer than the pictures. And I was like, geez, I should have done it myself. Because it is hard to convey to people what the home looks like with just pictures. And even if they're those fancy 360s, I mean, you can press a button and walk around the room. It's not the same. I do find that video footage is probably a little bit more accurate for people. So a lot of times, as soon as a house comes to market, if I don't have someone who's scheduling it, I schedule it myself. I'm a need-to-know person, so I go walk through that house. So when you call me with questions, I know. Sometimes I'll video that house because we do have out-of-town buyers. They need to be able to see it.
Yeah.
So on the video is really the best way for them. So I'm very proactive when it comes to real estate. I take it seriously. Like if I was going to buy this house, this is the way I would do it.
so like, what do you mean? Like this is like your job? This isn't just like your hobby because your husband
yes, I
hates
love
you
it.
and wants you out of the house so you
Yeah.
can go do something?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there are lazy agents out there.
Yeah,
when
I
you think
know.
about it, I mean, they really are. And I think
Say
that
90%.
Like when you call them and you're like, hey, does this house? Oh, I don't know. 'Cause
and that's
someone
what they'll
gave me a
say to you.
listing.
And if I say I don't know, I tell you I don't know. I haven't been through it. Give me a list of questions. I'll call the agent and ask him for you, because that's all you really have to do. The agents work together. Sometimes as a buyer, it might be better to have your own agent, so I can communicate with that selling agent for anything that we need to find out. And good real estate companies will have the property disclosures online for you. Sometimes that's a hard thing to come by. You have to request them. But it's what the seller knows about the house and that has been done to the house, at least within 5 years, for the state of Ohio.
I find it fun when like I pull up a listing on Realtor and it'll be like zero description. And it'll be like
Zero description and
sale,
zero pictures.
like
We don't
sale
have
as
spec.
is, or
Yeah.
it's just an exterior picture. And I'm, oh man, it just makes me want to go look so bad because I'm like, oh, it's either really fucked up,
Yeah.
or somebody's like great aunt left this to like their last known living relative, and they inherit it, and they're just like, I don't care, like get rid of it, I don't want it.
And the only time that I don't do interior pictures is if it's a rental. I don't like to picture somebody, a tenant stuff. I just feel that's unfair. But you should always go and take pictures. You should always go and take a video. If it's ugly, people are okay with that. If they're not okay with it, don't waste their time and my time. You know what I mean? So have those pictures. And be ready to answer those questions. And buyers, if I could give you just one piece of advice, don't be upset when your realtor asks you for a pre-approval letter. Don't be upset when your realtor wants to know if you're a ready, willing, and able buyer, because we only work for people that we get under contract with. That's just the way it is. So if you're just farting around looking for questions to be answered, we're going to answer what we know, but we're not going to run around and show you houses. Sellers don't want you in their house if you're not going to buy. You could be casing the place. You could be trying to leave the window open. You could be just trying to steal their pipes. I'm a woman. I can go and meet a 6'5" man that I've never met before who's afraid to talk to a bank. It's probably not a good idea. If you can't talk to a bank, I shouldn't meet you by myself. So that's the biggest thing with buyers is they don't seem to understand that realtors do want to help you, but you have to have that same commitment to them. Many times we work with buyers for all kinds of periods of time, maybe 3 months to 12 months. And then they'll call you and go, hey, I bought a house. And we're like, awesome. Where'd you buy that at? And they bought it from the selling agent because they call the person on the sign. You know what I mean? So you don't have to be left out, but it is kind of sad because you think, geez, I got to be a year of my life. And,
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You can't get upset by it, but you can be cautious about it and make sure that your buyers are buyers working with integrity. Because if they're not working with integrity, then you've taken away time from your buyers to do. So you have to be able to manage those buyers and those sellers intelligently, I guess is a good word.
Now, when you have people that are maybe not first time, because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, like first time homeowners are like, they're just looking for that first home, like they might be more loose, but what is it like for you when someone comes in and they're like, I have a 20-point list and I want every single one of these things on this list?
Yeah, I usually say that, we're looking for a unicorn because, it's not there. It's usually the $70,000 buyer. This is what we get all the time. I want a ranch. I want 1 acre of ground. I want 2 garages, and I want it in the country for $70,000. And I always go, oh.
That's not happening anymore.
In my mind, I go, not going to happen. But what I will do, first of all, again, that's why you need that pre-approval letter. The property is dictated by the loan type. So let's say you're USDA. You can buy no money down. Well, you have to be either in the country, Toronto, or Mingo. So where are you looking? Is it USDA? We have to be in the right area. FHA. The house has to be almost perfect because there's only 3.5% that you're putting down. Same thing with VA. They're putting down nothing. So if the house isn't perfect, they won't finance it. So we can't go look at the $80,000 house out in Bloomingdale that has a well and a septic and a garage that's fallen down. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So I feel bad because I'm the deliverer of bad news, but I'm as honest as the day is long. I'm going to tell you like it is. This is where we have to be. This is what we're doing. And now if you have a conventional loan or Hancock County Savings does, they used to do an 80-20 loan. I think they still do, but you can get 100% financing and they'll let you put some repairs in there.
Oh, that's nice.
So like maybe you just need GFCI, some handrails, some steps, whatnot. You can put it right into the loan.
FHA seems annoying,
unrealistic.
Like, I mean, on the one hand, good, because we dealt with this, but I felt lucky enough we did conventional, because like the FHA, it was just like
There's a lot of rules.
God, there were so many little tiny minute.
Like, I think even one of our steps outside wouldn't have qualified.
Right. If it's crooked or if it's cracked.
Yeah,
and
it was,
trip
and I'm
hazard.
like,
they don't allow wrinkled carpet.
which
Carpet wrinkles after yours.
is like cool because you know you're buying a home, you want to make sure everything's done properly, but at the same time, what I don't like about it is this person has an FHA, this person's working with conventional. You know, it's the house you want and you're so in love with it and you don't care. But the conventional person comes in and swoops it out from underneath you because your FHA loan is holding you back, and then the seller doesn't have to do any of that shit.
That's true. And there are agents that are prejudiced against government loans as well, simply because it's too much work. Too much work for them, it's too much work for the sellers, too much work for the bank. So you have to be open to all those things, because if a person truly has to be FHA, it's because they don't have a down payment big enough, although there are 3% conventionals with higher credit scores. So FHA, you can have a low credit score, a high debt-to-income ratio, and not have a lot of money in your pocket. So let's say, you know, Sally wants this particular house, and she's only FHA. So she may have to be prepared to paint that shed out back, because you can't have chip paint. You're going to ask your seller to make 1 million repairs to sell you that home. Odds are they don't want to. But if they know that shed needs painted, and you say, I'll just paint it myself. A lot of times buyers and sellers can work out whatever those repairs might need to be. So I think negotiation and negotiation skills is really key when it comes to making sure that people can get financed. When I started in 2018, things weren't gravy. So what was the best way to get a house? Make sure you get financed. And they're like, well, how did you do so good as a realtor just starting out? And I'm like, I get money. I mean, you have to understand money, and you have to work with great lenders, because that's how people get into homes, and that is their dream. I mean, you have to take that so seriously. You know, we say our dogs are our lives, and they're our family. We have to make sure they're a fit. Well, you have to have a home for you and that dog. You know, and I think that's big. So as long as people can figure out financing with their clients, and the clients are open to being committed clients, everybody's always going to get a house.
Do you find that people are more, like, as a general statement, are they more realistic about things, or are they less realistic?
I think they start out less realistic. Like I said, it's a teaching process. I have to be careful. Like, I don't want to come on too strong to you so that you think, well, she's just crazy. But I also have gone through the process enough times with people. After we look at 3 houses, then they're like, oh, and they start to really understand what it was you were saying. So you might have to, physically handhold, go explain to them properties, the way things work, or we're not allowed to tell people what to offer on a house, because that wouldn't be our decision to make. But when they go in there and they try to lowball 3 different times, and they lose the 3 homes that they really liked, then they're like, wow, I should probably start offering asking price. Probably. That'd be good, So they learn as they go.
And I'm sure watching like HGTV doesn't help.
Yeah.
Like, love it or list it. Yeah, well, I saw what they did on this show.
That is good, solid entertainment. And that's exactly what it is.
There's literally like articles that will say, like, people that have come off the show, and they're like, oh yeah, they told us, like, they gave us the script. Like, you're on this show, you're looking at this. We want you to like house number 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah. You look into it. It's hilarious.
I didn't realize that.
They'll tell you, like, they're completely coaxed into
God damn it, I hate this house.
Yeah, and then you can see it on their faces when you watch, and like the husband's just in the back, like, bewildered. Like,
I was going to tell you, there is this look that the client will get. Like, you're in the right house, because it was so cute. Yesterday, the couple at my open house, she couldn't stop smiling. And he said to her, and I've looked at 4 or 5 houses with them. He said to her, I have never seen you this excited about a house. And he was right. It was her house. Aww. I mean, from the time, and it's exciting. Watching 2nd graders learn how to read, that's pretty exciting. But guess what? Watching her was real exciting too. I mean, and they had been through 5 houses where it's like, oh, I kind of like it, I kind of like it. They have 2 kids, the kids kind of like it. No, yesterday you could tell that was the house. So, and that's a really good feeling. It really is.
It's got to be really rewarding.
It is. And when it closes, because everyone's like, oh, I bet you can't wait for it to close. I'm like, no, I can't wait for it to close so we know that everybody's happy. My sellers need to move. They need a new house. That's what it's all about, right?
You would love seeing me in any new house you brought me into.
Dave's just excited he saw the house.
Not just that, coming from this tiny little thing where my refrigerator doesn't even fit in the kitchen. I just walk into the house and I'd be like, this is amazing. You'd be like, this is a $20,000 house.
There's so much
I
space.
feel like the ceilings are so high.
Well, and there's that moment, Dave, where you're trying to be positive for people because you're walking in a house and, it was maybe a $40,000 house that they wanted to see that they knew they could afford. Well, I know what it's going to look like when we go through there because, and we do, and they're like disappointed. And I'm like, yeah, but, look at the space. Look at the hardwood floors. Look at the other things that are good about it because you want to try to be positive for people too because that could be their potentially new home. I don't want them to think, "Whoa, there's 12 bags of trash laying in the corner over there."
Listen, take me to a half torn down, most disgusting house, and I love it. I'm like,
she's a visionary. She can see it. So people can't.
You have vision.
I love it.
Half the people that I take in homes have that vision. Some no, because they're like, "Should you sell a house empty? Should you sell it with stuff in it?"
Oh, please empty it out.
That's a visionary, exactly. I need it empty.
She has such a hard time because I'll hit her with like, I'm gonna tell her about the built-ins.
She prepared you.
I want built-ins really, really bad.
Okay.
And I know where I want them. I see them. Okay. It's the perfect space. And it's like, no. And I'm like, you don't need, no. And I'm like, stop telling me no. Like, this is where, she's like, no.
This makes me want it more.
No. I'm like, okay. I'm like, never mind. I'm going to show you some pictures. And then she's like, yeah, you can't just say this to me. You have to show me. And in my mind, it's completely done. We've done it. It's done. I know the placement. I know how I want them. I see them. It's the perfect space. And she just, no.
But the minute you show me pictures,
yeah, you're like, oh, okay, I get what you mean. And I'm like, just trust me. Like, no, yeah. She would be your person to be like, oh yeah, we were like, that couch isn't gonna fit there.
Has a dragor and a draggy. Yeah. So that's just the way it works. Somebody drags, somebody draggy.
That's me dragging you through the house. This is so perfect. We're just gonna do the.
We're going to knock this wall. And I'm like, you don't even know if it's a supporting wall. We can't just knock walls.
Actually, that just happened the other night.
And people say that, but it's generally supported the way the roof goes. So just always look at the way the roof goes because that's generally your main support.
Now I know.
And there are ways to still support that and have an open concept. So it just depends on how you lay it out.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need the whole wall.
You don't.
Nope.
And it depends on the amount of money you have because you need even less of a wall if you have more money. Because there's ways to support it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you just stack money up.
There's your new building. Wait, real quick. The other night, which I'm sure everybody's house had some issue with those freezing temperatures. We have...
Weirdly, no.
Oh, well, bless your little soul.
It's because it's too
Bless your
small.
little house.
Well, so the pipes always freeze in this one section of the house. Just the way the crosswinds come, it hits the house, bam.
I have to sit and put a
hair
dryer up in the pipe.
So her dad's like, I'm going to come over in the spring. I'm going to help you with this. We're like, okay, cool. So pipes are frozen. We've had them open. We're waiting for something, whatever. She goes downstairs to do laundry. The cold water came back on. So I'm like, let me do these dishes. And I hear her from the basement. She's like, babe, there's water down here. And I'm like, okay. Uh-oh. She goes, no, like it's hot water. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, go downstairs and there's just water
coming through like the cracks. Because we had another water issue before.
Okay, so it's hot. So I'm like touching the walls. And I'm like, go get a hammer. I need a hammer. She's like, you can't just put holes in the wall. I'm like, yes, I can. What do you think they're going to do? So I find it and and I love it. I just start cracking this drywall and ripping it down. We find the leak. We got it fixed super, super quick. We were very, very lucky. But I
was lucky to hear it, so the
Oh,
basement didn't flood.
we
We
were going
turned
to
off the
bed.
main.
We
Yeah.
were going to bed.
So you put holes in the wall. You
Oh, I
found the
loved
leaky
it.
pipe.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there was just an elbow joint that just had cracked. One of my friends
So
actually, he
happy.
saved the day. He was like, go to Lowe's, get this, this, and this. I'll be over in a half an hour, and he showed
Mind
me
you,
how to
it's
fix it.
8:30 at night. Lowe's is open until 9,
Right.
and she's like, "Go right now." And she's like getting ready to. I'm like, "Who is this person coming over to our house?" She's like, "He is."
One of
I'm
my
like,
clients.
"Oh," I'm like, I thought we were having like a repair person come.
It was just a buddy of mine.
So easy, done deal. But I was never more happy to put holes. all
Shout
through
out
that.
to Nate Spears. I owe
And
you one.
now I'm
I
like-
love you.
Now that I know what things look like under there, I'm like, we could do this. Like, we could totally make
Start with some
Maybe
this.
they'll do
insulation on
ideas.
those pipes so they don't freeze again.
Yeah. And honestly, you're right. Insulation is a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, well, our house was built in 1950 or 51.
Lower. I think it was like 30 or 40.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought it was 1950. Whatever. We'll figure that out later. But there's,
I think it was 39.
It's on realtor.com, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. They had like the drop ceiling, so now I see the real ceiling. Yeah, there's no insulation in that section of anything. But now I'm like, we could do this with that. We could change. You don't know those ideas yet. They're on the Pinterest board.
I was going to say, you're going to have to share a picture. So she'll
Do you hate
jump on board.
Pinterest too?
No, I don't hate Pinterest. It has really cool real estate stuff. It really does.
Okay, good. She's a Pinterest lover. That's great.
Yeah.
All right.
I like
Well,
Pinterest.
Butter slept through the whole process.
So much
You're a good
for
boy.
Our dog over here.
Good boy. He's just there for emotional
Thank you
support,
so
but
much for coming on and
It was fun. It was
sharing
good talking to you guys.
some information with the squad.
We need to do like a special little breakout segment. We have to like take the camera down to
Destiny School. And
yeah, for dog training. Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
That would be
the
fun.
great-
post some
dog training.
pictures on the
and if
Truth
I've
Camping
talked to you
Team.
about dog training, go. Like let's
Yeah, what's the website?
go.
It's
DestinyDogs.biz, B-I-Z.
okay, perfect.
And all that information is there. We also have information on Facebook, which is Destiny Dog Training and Wellness Center. And as the dog trainer or the dog owner, always listen to good advice from your dog trainer. I have to harass my buyers and my dog trainees. Listen to me.
It's good. People need that like
They do.
gentle harassment.
Well, they have in their minds with dog training that my dog feels like this, so I need to do that. Nope. That's not the way it rolls. Nope. Your dog needs to do this for a specific reason, and you're the one in charge.
Like it's not your dog's fault, it's your fault.
Pretty sure this dog's a dancer.
Well, thank you guys so much. This is our second or third
Second episode
out of the new year, and we will post those links for everyone to check out. And honestly, we can't encourage you guys enough to check out Destiny Dog School. It's been wonderful for Bison, and it just, if you love your dog, take them to
Do
training.
your dog a favor.
And if you want to buy a new house, she got you. Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.